Matthew 7:18 says, "A good tree cannot bring forth evil fruit, neither can a corrupt tree bring forth good fruit." Well, in the case of the Trump corrupt family tree, we can say with certainty that the fruit it brings forth sure makes for some mighty fine wine. And no one whines more than the bad apple they call Eric.
But keep in mind, there's been a lot of good done by Foundation head and skeleton child from Nightmare Before Christmas, Eric Trump.
Brand new videos we'll show you in just a minute. Well, they're the latest and truly most disastrous samplings of sourpuss grapes you're ever going to see. Eric Trump was recently on the QAnon podcast X22. That's an online show that's been banned on YouTube and Spotify over the alleged promotion of QAnon conspiracy theories. Imagine that.
QAnon and the conspiratorial games people play. Political ones involving Donald Trump's MAGA Republicans.
Eric Trump went on the QAnon podcast X22 to whine about how unfair everyone is being to his father. The topic was Trump's upcoming sentencing hearing on July 11th. After his New York conviction on 34 felony charges, let's not forget, he went on the show with Reawaken America tour fraudster Clay Clark, who hires Eric as a starting speaker to headline his traveling roadshow of conspiracy theorists and whack jobs. But Clark was barely able to get a word in edgewise during the interview, as you'll see. And man, did he uncork a flight of stunning wines, paired with some stinky cheeses, as he poured his meager heart out about the terrible unfairness his daddy has been enduring. But first, let's sample some vintage Eric Trump.
Joining us now, the man himself, Executive Vice President of the Trump Organization.
I've never seen hatred like this. I mean, to me, they're not even people. It's so sad. I mean, morality's just gone. Morals have flown out the window.
Now, if you think that sampling has a little bready funk to it, pucker up for the videos we're about to run in just a second. But before we do, let's foul up our palate just even a little bit more with a quick look at the other aspects of Eric Trump's passions beyond being a wine connoisseur. You know, he's also a philanthropist of the highest order.
Those charity events for Eric's foundation were quite the blowouts, starting with golf on Trump courses, Hooters girls on the greens, and nighttime fun with acts like comedian Lisa Lampanelli.
Are you giving birth right now? Because that would be up. Wow, score, Mr. Trump Jr.
The events raising millions of dollars for St. Jude Children's Hospital to help kids fight cancer.
At St. Jude, a family never sees a bill.
But this morning, Eric Trump is defending his charitable foundation against accusations he was self-dealing to the Trump Organization.
Eric and his brother are also world-class sportsmen and enthusiastic outdoorsmen.
Donald Trump's sons, under fire. Donald Trump Jr. and Eric Trump are sparking some major outrage tonight over hideous pictures that emerged of the two of them on a big game hunt in Africa. They are posing in front of slain wild animals, and people are naturally outraged. Animal rights groups are saying this is disgusting.
And if you think he's the only one who loves a little wine, well, his lovely wife, and now head of the RNC, Laura, knows how to pour a splash of grievance as well.
It's really sad because this is the kind of treatment.
You just can't make this up. I mean, you really can't.
Yeah. Well, but this is the kind of treatment that I think conservatives are used to. We're used to being censored. We're used to being shadow banned, which certainly I already know my song was shadow banned. So many people told me on Apple Music, on Spotify, on Amazon Music, they wouldn't put my song on the radio because it was too political.
And since Laura is the focus of our first spectacular video offering out of Eric Trump's private wine cellar, we chose a beauty that concerns Laura's fear of a stolen election in November. Let's swirl this nightcap around.
But I promise you, she wakes up in the morning thinking about this. She goes to bed at night thinking about that very problem, and they are all over it, knowing that it's an inevitability of that party. It's just, I hate to say it. I wish I didn't say this, but it's who they are. It's what they do. They cheat.
They cheat, said the expert, but Dolt son number 2 continued to tap the cask of cluelessness as he indicated black voters relate to Trump, because of his legal woes. Check this out.
Behind him, you know what they can do to the average person? And guys, that's waking up a lot of communities too. I mean, I think you've seen how engaged the African American community has become and how they're, trending fast right over to the Republican Party, because they're saying, hey, so many of our communities, they've done the same thing to us for years. They've prosecuted us so oftentimes unjustly. They're doing to him what they did to me, and I'm not into it. And I can see it. I can read between the lines.
I think we can read between the lines too, Eric, and I do believe we detect a note of delicious hypocrisy dancing on your tongue. But Eric didn't stop there, and maybe most shockingly offered a whiff of serious barnyard, as he described his old man's unvarnished honesty. Try swallowing this one.
There's so many times you can lie to somebody before they just stop believing you. And I actually think ultimately it will do a great justice for this country. I think my father will go down, maybe his greatest accomplishment, right, will actually be kind of the unvarnished honesty that he's, really taken toward the whole system. The fact that he was able to take this system in Washington, D.C. that's existed for a long time and really kind of, really pull the rug out from under it and expose it for what it is, expose these people for what it is, expose the games for what it is.
Is he drunk? Well, let's raise our wine glass high and offer a toast to the host with the most, number 2 son, who has become legendary in the wine world for his world-class stomping of the grapes of wrath in the woe is us vat of spoiled brattery. Salud!